Hi guys, welcome to Third Stall Garage. My name is Doug. This is the channel about the restoration of a 66 Mustang convertible named Vin. I'm loving restoring this car, and not all of the work on this is exciting. Today I'm working on cleaning up some of the rear parts of the car where some of the work maybe wasn't done the best. It's kind of fun trying to figure out how to point. Involves cleaning out some sealant, Bondo. My suspicion is it may actually be liquid nail or construction adhesive. It's the right color and gooey texture of that. And then where the rear leaf springs attach and inside of the wheel wells, there's some spots that I need some advice and some help as to how to go about fixing it, because there was some patchwork quilt stuff done with a little bit of welding that I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what it's supposed to look like. So join in as I try to clean this up, and then let me know your thoughts as to how you would proceed doing this. I'm going to show them what I'm doing first, and then the end of the video we'll get to the part that I have questions about, and I would love your advice. You can post a comment below. You can send me an email, thirdstallgarage@gmail.com. Third is 3RD, stallgarage, no spaces, @gmail.com. Thanks, I appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you will. Stay tuned. All right, here's what I'm fighting. These joints along here, and this joint is where I've spent most of my time working. You can see there's a big hole right there. There's a big hole here and a hole there. It was all filled with this stuff. It's kind of flexible-ish, a little bit hard. Parts of it almost look like they were pushed out of like a caulking gun. You can see a little swirl there. You can see more evidence of it on the bottom here, all through this area. And I want to get rid of all of it. And so I've tried sandblasting. That doesn't really touch it. Gotten rid of a lot of it with a pretty aggressive twisted wire wheel on my angle grinder with gloves and safety glasses. I've also used screwdriver and hammer and a gasket scraper and actually dental picks to kind of get in there and pull it out. And I'm working my way along these areas. My hope is to get all of this cleaned up. You can see that that is all spread with it there, back to here, which is kind of the last of it in this area, so that I can see what's underneath there, figure out where there's metal, where there isn't, and then once I get it cleaned up, I should be able to weld in a solid repair when I'm done. But you can see that I don't think this joint here is even welded together. I'm not positive. All right, so I'm gonna get back to it. This is a labor of love. I'm not doing it because it's fun, but I wanna do it right and feel good about what's underneath here when I drive down the road someday. All right, I'm gonna get back to work on it, and you can I'll show you updates as we go. This patch seems to be held in by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, maybe 17 little tack welds. And I think instead of trying to clean it, I'm gonna try to cut those out and see what's there. I can always stick it back in. My guts, that's my next step. Let's see what we find behind there. kind of like opening up, was it Capone's grave or Geraldo's or somebody's? I have no idea what to expect to find behind here. Looks like not quite cut all of the welds. Close. More goop. And a nice piece of sheet metal. Let me show you what we got. It looks like, I don't know, there's like 3 or 4 different layers in there. I don't know what the heck this is supposed to be. Man, 11. All right, I'm gonna keep cleaning. Okay, here's where I am on the driver's side. I've got about a 1/2 inch gap here between this piece of sheet metal and the inside of the rocker, with a big gap here and a couple ugly welds. What I'm wondering is if I should cut a 1/2 inch piece of maybe 14 gauge and fill that in and weld it all the way around, bend this guy out and attach him to the fender, and then try to close this off. Before I close it off, I'd like to spray inside there with the Eastwood frame coating. But I'm wondering what people think about how I should tighten this up. I don't like that I can see straight through there into the interior of the car. But I don't know if I should try to pinch that and weld it shut, and what do I do with this gap here? If I continue on further, you can see I've gotten a lot of this cleaned up. It's a little shiny because I did some sanding on it. I still have whatever that material is in this gap. But all in all, it's fairly solid under there. I did get this little patch removed. It's a little hard to see, but this right here is the bottom of some ugly welds from the top. So I was able to grind that down mostly. And all in all, I think this is fairly solid. The other question that I'm a little concerned about is this part of the wheel well is a touch lower than this part. It almost feels like this got pushed up, possibly by this, and this should maybe be pulled down, which would make sense with that gap through there. But I don't know how this was originally supposed to be attached. For those of you that have done wheel well replacements, does this metal just tee into that? Do I weld along the edge? Should I put a clamp on here, squeeze this down, and then what do I do with this gap? This is big enough for me to fit my thick knuckle through. So that's where I am on this side, and I would love some advice about that before I move forward. I also need to clean up welds here with a couple pinholes. What I think happened is this is original, this is original, this is original, this was replaced, this rear frame well was replaced. So I think they cut this here, and this is their re-welding of it. That's my best guess as of right now. And then the wheel wells are new as well. So this, I think, is original sheet metal. All right, so that's where I am with that. And those are the questions that I have. Later, not tonight, because I'm calling it a night, I'm gonna go work down there, which has some other interesting challenges. All right, it is the next day, and finished working. I made a lot of progress on the driver's side up there. Tonight I am on the lower, which is the passenger side, and I am gonna start digging out all of this junk out of here. and here, and all the way along here, back to there. You can see a lot of sand and grit keeps falling out from the car being sandblasted. There also is remnants of grit, or not grit, but that seal along here. I am really perplexed, curious, unsure of what to do at this point. You know, this is the inner rocker. This kind of looks like a little patch. Underneath this patch is that patch. Underneath this patch is that patch, which is kind of butt welded, or I don't know. This one kind of looks like a rectangular piece that they just laid in there. I don't know what I'm gonna find when I get that torn apart, nor am I 100% sure what it's supposed to look like. I can see a gap here. It's a little alarmingly large. The other thing I can kind of see is it looks like this part of the inner fender well is lower than this part is. I'm assuming my tire's gonna be flat. So it makes me wonder if this part should be up higher. The other piece that's a little alarming is, you know, looking at, this is new, this is new, this is new. I think we got new, new, new. This is original, 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 original. Who knows about this stuff? But I have what looks to be a repair that was done to this rear frame rail. There's a patch there. There's a patch here. And there's a patch there. And there's an all-important screw right there. That's probably the one that's holding the whole freaking car together. So I'm not gonna take that screw out. I think the whole thing will fall apart. I have no idea whether this is a patch that they just put over top of it, whether they cut something out. Either way, I don't feel real great about it, and I think I will cut that out and learn exactly what's going on in there and figure out what needs to be done to fix that right, or at least close to right. I'm hoping the right thing isn't to put a whole new rear frame rail in, because I don't really want to do that. It would be a ton of work, I think. So I'm gonna start getting all of this, I think it might be liquid nail, out of here. And we'll see what I uncover in the meantime. This is somewhat interesting I need to show you. This is what's coming out of there, which could be Bondo, could be seam sealer. Kind of looks a little bit to me like it came out of a caulking gun, and it is thick in here. It's hard to get out with one hand. But it's not supposed to be that way. Come on, people. We can do better than this. All right, here's where we are. Same as above, large gap here. Needs to be closed up. I'm not sure about this piece here. It tucks under there and behind there. I have no idea how big or how far back it goes. I thought it might pull out, like maybe it was just stuck there, but it kind of looks like there's a weld right there. Although that may have been from the other side. But this feels really firm, so I could push that back down and weld it in. But along here, you can see how big this is. I do think that this part of the wheel well needs to go up. Although the tires that were on the axle when I got the car fit, I didn't ever check the dimension, but it kind of seems to me like, see how this gap is close here and gets wider and wider. I don't think this piece is original. So maybe that should come out too. And then I gotta clean this up and figure out what's behind there to attach to. On the other side of this, things don't look quite as bad, although there's not a nice tight joint. You know, so water and stuff could get in there. The rest of the wheel well joint, I think, looks pretty good. And joint along there, I think, looks pretty good. Is that supposed to be a gap right there? Or is this supposed to fit tight to it? I'd love some advice on this, on how you'd recommend I'd go about fixing those spots up. And, you know, this is not a concourse car. This is going to be a weekend driver. My aim is to do it well. So when I'm all done, I feel good about it. If I ever sell the car, I feel good about it. It's strong, it's durable, it's weather tight. Not looking to cut it all out and put all brand new metal in so it's concourse perfect. But I'm also not looking to just slap Bondo all over it and seam sealer and a thick coat of paint and call that good enough. So feel free to comment below, send me an email, thirdstallgarage@gmail.com. That's 3RD. I think it's in the profile or info about. Yeah, whatever. I'd love to hear what you would do. Thanks for following. Have a good day.